Any particular translations I prefer? That's a great question. I think everybody has their favorite. I was raised on the King James Version, which is probably going to be almost impossible to surpass in terms of the majesty of the language. And of course, I'm speaking in English. The majesty of the language, the cadence, the poetry, the beauty, the magnanimity of that language. You know, I remember reading a study after World War I that when those men were in the trenches, whether they were English or German or French or Italian or whatever nationality, if they were Christian or Jews, it was the 91st Psalm that was on their lips and in their hearts. And in World War II, it was the 23rd Psalm. Well, those were the two Psalms I was really raised on. And the beauty of those is so huge in the King James. As the years have gone on, though, I've come to see that there's a reason as language changes in our lifetimes in the certain use and translation of words, that over the 400 years since the King James was created in 1611 in England, that the English language has greatly changed. And words that meant one thing in that century simply don't mean the same in ours. Or things like the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Great Discovery in the late 40s, have so informed the language of the early centuries, both before Christ and after, that we have a much greater awareness of how language was used. So as a result, we have contemporary translations. There are so many. Just some of my favorites are the New Living Translation, the Common English Bible, which is a brand new one that was just released, I believe, in 2011, that is designed for clarity and brevity. I believe written at a 7th grade level, which maybe sounds juvenile to some, but is a wonderful level for people of all educational levels to come into. It's a wonderful translation. I love that. I like different Bibles, like The Message. That's Eugene Peterson's translation, both a Hebrew and a Greek scholar. It's very idiomatic English. My husband is a chaplain in the prison system in the county where we live, and there are men of all educational levels there. And he finds when he reads The Message, it reaches them in a way that other texts don't. Now, you and I might love the King James Version as an example, but if we're sharing it for meaning, it may not be the most loving thing to do with other people. So my whole thing is, I love language, I love good writing, but I'm more interested in understanding the text. And the other reason I've really grown to love more contemporary translations than, for instance, the King James or even the Revised Standard, which was kind of the son of the King James, written around the beginning of the 20th century. The reason newer translations, like the New Revised Standard Version, which is used in many, many seminaries, as it was in mine, as the standard text, the reason I love those is because it's just clearer, and you hear the stories in a new, fresh way. One of the issues of people who know the Bible is they're overly familiar. So if I ask you to read the Beatitudes and you've grown up on them, and maybe you memorized them as a child, what do they really mean in a fresh new way? Have you thought about them in a different way? That's what I think newer translations do for us. So I love a lot of them.